Alright, so this is the trailer I got in order to build the solar generator. It is an absolute piece of junk. I think the wheel bearings were shot, or at least that nut is loose. So we gotta check those out. Needs new lights. It's bent here and over here. So I've gotta unbend that and reinforce it because it is actually cracked here, which is pretty rough. Of course, the decking's coming off on this side as well. The wheel bearing is, I don't know if you can see that. I mean, it's bad. So we'll get that checked out and need some safety chains. But it does have a new receiver, which doesn't make up for any of it. But we'll get started. Alright, just got all these welded up, took out those bolts. It's already much more solid. So, it doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be good enough. That's what I'm going for. So, just welded those braces on and whatnot. We'll address this in a bit. For now, let's take a look at these wheel bearings to figure out why it's able to move so much back and forth. So let's take a look. And once I get this off, be a wheel bearing back here. You got to be careful because when you're testing them out, so you can cut your finger open real quick if it's not automatically visible, but it's bad anyways, and you gotta test it. I wonder if they put the wrong washer on here. That's what they did. We might be saved, boys. They put a washer on here that's not big enough to go over the lip. So we almost need a spacer. Is the right way to fix it? I don't know. But it is a way to fix it. And it is the way that I'm going to be fixing it. So that's what we're gonna do. See if it's pushed up. It feels real nice. But it needs to go around that shaft. Push down on the push down here so that it doesn't do that. Yeah, we just need a spacer. We need to make a spacer, a bigger washer here. Let's get it working. No, it's definitely not big enough. Let's see how much space we got to make up here. Let do it. Okay, so I was gonna drill out those washers, but it's proving to be pretty difficult. I took some pipe, similar size, bigger inside diameter. It seems like it's gonna work perfect, right like that. And then throw this on here. It's just the original washer. Now if I can find that castle nut. Oh, it's on my stool. Duh. Screw this puppy back on. I think this is gonna work for us. Oh yeah. Makes me happy. I hope it makes you guys happy. Alright, good enough. Now we'll do the other side. Right on. That's awesome. That other side was the same deal. I had already cut that that one spacer, so it went pretty quick. We're gonna start working on the tongue. See if we can get this thing straightened out, and then hopefully braced up and not nearly as sketchy to pull. I pulled this thing 30 miles home the way that it was with, you saw me rip that decking off with one hand. Of course, everything was loose, including the wheel bearings. It was sketchy. I was very thankful to make it home with no problems. Just not the best steel. Okay, so this is what I've decided. That thing is so bad. I think I'm gonna buy some steel. Have to modify the brackets and whatnot. I'm not making it hook up to that. But yeah, we'll get this thing unbolted and get it prepared for some new tongue steel. Not tungsten steel, but tongue steel. So let's get started. Alright, with that, we are done for the day. I'm going to clean this stuff up and we'll go from there, but I got to get some steel for that front. I was just looking through stuff that I have, and I have some angle iron. I have enough angle iron, but it's only like an inch and a quarter. I keep looking up there because it's over there. I don't know. We'll get some bigger stuff because I don't feel too confident about that. But I'm gonna get this stuff cleaned up, get my car pulled back in here, and see you tomorrow. So I took inventory of what I had stock-wise, and I think this will all work out. I measured the trailer that we just built, the tongue length on that, and this is about the same. And of course, this piece here is from this trailer. This one's from the other one that we cut off from the upright structure. So we're gonna get started making this this tongue. It should be fine lengthwise. It'll be a little bit shorter than that one, but this isn't designed or won't be designed for frequent travel. It's designed to get home, and then you set it up and pull it out whenever you need it. So let's get started building this tongue. Okay, so I got a couple pieces of steel from a different project just recently, and I think I might change some things up. We'll see. We might go back to the original design using this bridle type thing. So we'll see. I guess you guys will find out soon enough. All right, we just got this thing painted, or at least as good as it's gonna get. It just rained last night, so gotta wipe this thing off, and then we'll get started putting the solar stuff on. We'll start with the box first and try to get that nailed down into regards to the location of it all, and then we'll go from there. Next up, we gotta secure it on this corner and the opposite corner over here. But I also want to try to fill that gap with something. I think I'm gonna use this stuff. I'm not planning on making this structural at all. I'm gonna add another piece of heavy duty angle iron over here in the corners. So this stuff is from an old shelf. It's super flimsy. You can see me just bend that. But it'll cover this up, this gap, make it look a little bit better, and after we paint it, it'll look really good, I think. So let's get started on the angle iron first in the corner, and then we'll move on to this. Okay, so this is set up, or was set up for the solar system, I believe, in both series and parallel. They had 2 batteries hooked up together for 48 volts, I'm sorry, for 24 volts, and another in 24 volts, and I ran off 24 volts. Based upon the wires that I have here, that's what I believe was going on. But I need this to output 12 volts for the power inverter. This charge controller will do 12 volts, and this solar goes straight up into this bus bar. So that's what this clipped wire is here. So I believe I can get everything to work here on 12 volts. This big gray wire here, that one's for the output, and that is a switched output here. That'll go straight to the inverter. There is a common negative bus on here, and then the positive is right up here. It looks like, I don't know, I have to do some more looking, but yeah, I think we're just gonna get started, and then I'll give you a recap after I get it all figured out and wired up. So what I've decided is that even though this charger is good for 3 cells, we're all going to hook it up into 1 cell. So we're going to hook all the positives together, all the negatives together. It'll give us 12 volts out with a lot of amps. And that's the way we're going to charge it. And that's the way it's going to go into the inverter, power inverter. So let's get started working on that. Okay, I want to give you a quick rundown of how I think I'll be setting this up. It's taking a while to actually figure out what is going on, but basically, like I said, we're going to turn this into a one big charging system with this marine power generator thing. But basically, there's this bus bar up here. All the grounds are together, so all of this should be positive, other than this that says negative. I guess that's probably for the LEDs. Actually, it looks like that's for the solar stuff. So all the solar stuff plugs into here. This is the output cable, and this is the what I believe to be the input for the solar charger to the battery. And this one right here is on this toggle switch and this 20 amp breaker that goes straight to the output, and then of course the charger. So I want the charger to run even when that switch is off, and I want it to charge up even when that switch is off. So that switch would just be for this output power. So I think I have everything sorted out. Basically, that's going straight to the batteries. There'll be jumpers along here for the positive, and then this solar one will go straight to the battery as well. This will go straight to the battery as well, but that is the positive for the output, and it's switched. So I think that's everything, thankfully. Let's get started. Alright, I'm going to change some things up. I have this bus bar thing. This came from another government auction for some police cruiser type stuff. So I'm just going to use this, put some self-tapping screws through here, and run that along the back thing, and then we'll have a positive bus bar, or bus area, and I think it'll work great. Alright, now we got to figure out where to put the solar panel. I'm thinking about just putting it at a fixed angle right here. To cover up this, I was thinking about putting a piece of wood there. So let's see what this would look like with this solar panel here. I think I might mount it just flat like this. Not have to put a piece of wood. It's still within the width of the trailer, the tires anyways. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So let's start processing the rest of this. It looks like it has got brackets and stuff on it. So let's do that. All right, I had to do a little bit of research on how in order to get these things hooked up. Of course, when I took it apart, I didn't note anything. These are floating buses, but what was confusing me was these diodes that connect them. But from what I've read online, this one over here is negative, and this one here is positive. So that's how we're gonna hook it up. That's done. Now we just gotta mount this solar panel. I don't know if you saw it, but there's a second light that lit up on the charging bus bar, so that's pretty cool. So it says that it's activated and charging. This is from ASC Specialty Concepts Incorporated. It is a battery charge regulator for solar systems. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, let's get this solar panel mounted. Go from there. This is exciting. Actually, maybe what we do is we mount this cheap power inverter. So the plan is right here to either cut it out bigger, or if I can find something that fits, it's great. But basically, I'm gonna run like an extension cable from these ports to a waterproof outlet here. We just got to figure out a way to mount this in here, and then the main outputs from this, which will be right here. Before we do that, let's hook our multimeter up to this and make sure that we're getting power here, because if not, we got some more work to do. We have no power right now, which is great. Turn on the switch here, see if we got power. And we do. Fantastic. And it is showing 12.3, which this charge controller is saying, I think it said 12.45. I'm sorry. The multimeter shows 12.35. The charge controller was showing 12.45, so that's a loss of 0.1 volts throughout all this electric, so that's pretty good. Thinking about putting it pretty close, right in here. Run this wire up like this. What do you guys think about that? I think that would look pretty good. And we can just run a short jumper to that. That's what we'll do. Mount this right here. I'm gonna try to use some, I'm thinking I'll use some exhaust strapping or something to strap this down with some self-tapping screws. It doesn't look like I have any exhaust strapping, but I do have this piece here. If you guys haven't been able to tell yet, I keep a lot of useful things. Some may call it junk. I do not. But I process what I need or could use in the future. So like this piece here came from a Suzuki Cappuccino that I imported from Japan a couple years ago. This was part of the license plate bracket. So I'll insert a photo of that Cappuccino right here. This car was awesome, honestly. I love that car. But I drove it like 130 kilometers, and the engine, well, actually the piston rings and the pistons themselves cracked. And it took forever to have a custom set of pistons made by Ross Racing Pistons, which is one of the stickers that's over here somewhere. And yeah, it took forever. It was like 6 months, something like that, which doesn't seem like too long now that I say it out loud, but it was a long time because it was just, the car was just destroyed. Well, not destroyed. It was taken apart in this small garage I have. So, and it's a small car, but when you have it all spread apart, it takes up a lot of space. So anyhow, let's get this thing mounted. All right, it's all powered up. Let's give it a shot with something that draws a lot of amps. We'll use this, or give this heat gun a shot. Might be difficult to plug it in, but like I said, we'll be plugging it in through a port right here. This is incredibly hard to get out. I think this cheap thing just may have died when I put that thing on there. Let's make sure we still have power over here. No, we don't. Oh, we may have popped this inline fuse. That's what may have happened. That fuse did blow. Had a 20 amp in it. We're gonna replace it with something bigger. I don't know. I guess the biggest I got is 35, so that's what we're putting in there. It might pop this thing immediately with a large draw, but all right, that's on, that's on. Well, now this thing's not working. This thing is on. Okay, I think it has over voltage protection. So I would be curious as to, yep, that's exactly what's happening. So it will run it on low, but not high. So I'm not sure how that'll work out for us. Because what I want this to be able to do, I'm not keeping this thing, I'm selling this thing, but I want to build it right for the right person. So what I'm thinking is that, what I'm worried anyways, is that it won't be able to run a refrigerator because of the hard start. That's what I'm trying to get to. I'll have to do some research on it and see. I mean, I know that heat gun draws a lot of amps, so. But nonetheless, we'll trek forward. We'll try to get this, that thing didn't blow, so that's good. We'll try to get some stuff cleaned up here and get this solar panel installed. My thought is I'm gonna run some self-tapping screws into the side of this panel, and then a couple up from the bottom, and should be good enough. Like I said before, this trailer is not meant to be transported very many places. The idea is you pull it home, you set it up, you can move it around with your four-wheeler or your truck or SUV, whatever you got, when you have a problem. So it would be hooked up to shore power over there. It's charging. This is a supplemental power source. It's not going to charge up these batteries with the usage that I expect people to use this at in case of emergencies and stuff. So I understand that, and I hope you guys do too. I have a huge gripe against large clothes and gloves. When you lose your ability to work, what's the point of like a glove? Like, I understand the protection aspect of it, but man, very annoying. And so in this case, I'm having similar feelings with this bulky coat. The thing is, you can't change what you're working on, the space that you're working on, but you can change the articles of clothing that are cumbersome to fixing things. And so unless, like, if we go back to the gloves example, getting a skin tight protective glove where you don't lose your dexterity is very difficult. I'm sure you guys know the struggle. So it's like you wear big bulky gloves when you're skiing. Okay, all you're doing is holding a stinking, 1-inch pole, but if you try to use those ski gloves in order to do engine work in the winter outside, you can't do that. There's just no way. So it is very challenging. Somebody please make some gloves that will work and keep you either protected or warm, whatever the purpose is. There's a gap back here that I don't like, so I'm going to try to tighten so I don't have any desire to. I'm going to try to tighten this screw over here. Need to back it out and pull it back in. I might be able to use a screwdriver. Not perfect, but better. I think I'm just gonna put an L bracket here. I was gonna throw some screws up in the top, but I think I'm gonna put an L bracket here, some more screws. Just can't go about that deep there. I just fixed this welder. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a card up in the top right hand corner over here. You can click on that and watch me fix this welder. I've had this welder for, oh boy, 2.5 years. I've put 12 spools of wire through it. It is easily the nicest, cheapest wire feed welder on the market that I have tested. And it's just a titanium 125 flux core wire welder. It is the best. And you can pick these up at Harbor Freight on sale for just over $100, 150 bucks. I think that's what I bought mine for. I bought the 2-year warranty and didn't even need it. So 150 bucks, you can't go wrong. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that this is the best welder. That's not my point. What I'm saying is, for the money, it is very hard to beat. That is mounted and not going anywhere. I'd be confident pulling that down the interstate. So it's time for some supper that my wife has so graciously prepared. So I'll be back in a little bit. I have to apologize. I'm not sure what happened, but my camera did not record for the past couple times. So I did do a little bit of work and I want to walk you through that real quick. I went ahead and made some custom decals for this thing. They look like this. They say SunForge Power. What I have found is, especially when flipping trailers, decals matter. So in this case, we have one right on top and one in the front. And then we have 2 of those small ones. What we're gonna do is put them on the ends of the fenders here. I tried to do some painting and the painting did not really work. You can see the texture here. I had to scrape it off and I've been in the process of repainting stuff just with some really light coats. You can also see I added this outdoor electrical box here. Yeah, so it's just screwed straight in with some self-tapping screws. We'll open this up and I'll show you. Here it is. And this was an old computer power cable that I cut up and wired that straight into here. It all works. It works great. Right now it's off. If I turn this on, you should hear it beep. That's this powering up. And this now has power too. So, but that's all I did. I didn't cut any holes or anything. There's just 2 self-tapping screws in here. Had to drill out the front plate on here so then we could actually get that thing mounted. I'm not sure how you do that. I'm not sure if that's correct. Probably not, but it's whatever. And then of course, got some hobo wiring to the inverter. So all that's left now is to do some touch of paint on this rusty stuff on the inside. Do another light coat on some of this stuff. Put those stickers on. Take pictures of it and do some glory photos for you or a glory video and sell it. That's the goal. So let's finish this thing up. Something else I did do is I added this reflective sticker here on this corner. And I'm not sure if this was in the video or not, but I did add a reflective sticker there. So yeah, other than the new decals that need to go on the fenders here, this thing should be done. So of course I got to clean up some overspray from the spray paint I just put on, but yeah, I'm pretty excited and I hope you guys are too. I guess let's put those stickers on and then do that walk around video. All right, guys, we just finished this thing up. This is the SunForge Power Solar Trailer. It came, like I said, you can go watch the original video of us taking the speed sign trailer apart, had the radar and everything in it, but that trailer was just too good. So we designed that and turned that into a multi-use trailer, and this is solely just built for a solar backup. There's extra room in here for expandability, and which you can guys just saw that in the glory video. But thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, you can just put them down there in the comments, and have a great day. God bless. That's it.